think, Yoashu. You got done at 5 before? Okay, 106, we'll just say. 106 vision we're going to talk about. Or my spirituality. Or my perspective, right? My deepest truths. That's all that truly exists in reality. The rest is just people repeating what other people say, or people repeating what other people believe. So it's just a cult, right? Believing what other people believe. It's just cultism, not thinking for yourself. So true spirituality is each individual having their own perspective and then evolving it to the best of their ability individually. There's no final truth, right? There's only truth. After billions of lives, billions of existences, just continual growth. Okay. Anyways, yesterday, I'm pretty exhausted. I feel raggedy dolled. So I got, had to go to Fortaleza, get this thing. I don't know if you just saw my ass on screen, but this is international driving permit. I'm Korean, and in order to drive in my homeland of Korea, I have to get an international driver's permit from America, where I was born and raised and got my driver's license. But anymore, I'm in Brazil, so I have to get this, which is like the American equivalent of getting an international driver's permit. All right, so it's kind of just funny to me. Born in America, living in Brazil, getting a driver's permit so I can get back in Korea. All right, I've got a driver's license, international driver's license from Brazil. After I moved here, after learning to drive in America, where I was born, because my parents immigrated from Korea, and for me to drive in Korea, I have to have this international driving permit from Brazil, where I'm currently living. Go back and file everything to get an American. But anyways, maybe it's just funny to me, ridiculous to me, the bureaucracy. This is, I gotta sign up for it online, pay for it online, and then drive to Fortaleza to pick it up, but they won't tell me where I have to pick it up from. So that's the goose chase. It's like, I pay for it, I have to wait a couple days, and then I go there, but not exactly where. There's like 15 offices. It's this big city, and you can't call and find out which one. There's no number, right? So I have to just show up and be like, I picked this up, and then they don't know offhand, but to look it up, go through this whole ordeal, trying to find out for you, and then they find out, tell you, and then it's like, okay, I gotta get there. Free. So if you happen to go, 1 p.m., now you gotta race through traffic across the city to this one place that's nowhere near downtown Central. And yeah, I got there at around 1:40-ish. Had to wait in line to talk to a teller, and that took me 30 minutes, and it was like 2. And then I have to go run to my car. Where is my car parked? Because there's never any parking. Get to my car, drive across town to another, the Tran office, and then I'm racing to get in line there, so that they can see me before 3 p.m. It worked out at the end of the day, but since you don't have a number to call, everything's online and they don't give good information online. It really is like a, what do you call it? That Korean show on Netflix, some Squid Games. It's really like Squid Games, that you're just put through Squid Games to fuck with you. To have to get this to be able to drive in my native country. And so yeah, everything ends up being a bureaucracy that makes money, a problem that really I have to find someone that works there, bribe them to be my friend, and then they will be able to give me their WhatsApp and answer questions for me. And it's that way for banks. People here have to have a friend that works in the bank that can fix problems for them, so that they don't have to go through the bureaucracy the normal way. Come here, come back another day with these documents. Come back with this signature, and then wait 2 days, and then you have to go to this office downtown, and then find out to schedule an appointment there, because they can't call them to schedule an appointment. You have to schedule an appointment beforehand. It's just a way to get us stressed and sick, so that they can make money off of us. But yeah, I'm raggedy from yesterday. But I just want to talk about, mentally I'm great. Physically I'm tired. My face is all swollen. I feel like but mentally, spiritually I'm calm. Despite, individual stresses and worries, as well as global stresses and worries going on. Mentally, I'm strong. I guess other people aren't, but I'd expect it to be a lot worse today. But yesterday, no, everything at the end of the day went smoothly. Like, went to the place and the guy was like, well, you only got an hour left and you're at the wrong place. I could have been like, fuck. But I was just like, okay, let's go try to make it work. Drive across town. It was really just like that Taoist parable about the guy who he just kept saying maybe in terms of whether something was good or bad. Like, he got a horse, so they were like, that's great. Ran away the next day. And they're like, oh, that's bad. And they keep saying that's great and that's bad. Something good happens and something bad happens. And every time he doesn't say it's good or bad, he says maybe. And yesterday I was really just living with that, or vibing with that, without intention. But I think I accidentally started off my day that way. Because I had been arguing with Garrett about religion, really getting into fisticuffs, like down to like personal attacks and name calling, because he's on the religious side of the ball, or the coin, and I'm on the anti-religion, spirituality side of the coin, free thinking side of the coin. And one of the problems, the big problems of religious side of the coin is they believe in prayer, I guess. Prayer and faith, that a savior will save everything, or that it is just what it is, basically, kind of thinking. Like religions, churches, they turn people into compliant zombies, willing to just allow evil to control their lives and their world. Just, oh, whatever, well, if we pray, Jesus will come and save it. Or they say, well, the people doing evil, they'll go to hell after they die, and all the people who are suffering, they'll go to heaven after they die. So they find all excuses to not do anything, as in to not revolt, to not rebel, to not put a stop to, right? If there's a criminal controlling a town, it's one criminal who's powerful, who has control of police, sheriff, and the politicians, and all the major workers, and judges, and police forces. So it's one man with maybe 100 police, and then 1,000 or 10,000 people who are controlled and exploited and enslaved within that town, right? This is how it is all the time. There's always evil controlling the many few. The 1%, the top 1%, they call it nowadays. Or the rich and controlling the poor. And it's been this way. And so it's quite obvious that the poor need to get together. They outnumber the rich. The slaves outnumber the slave masters, and including their armed and government military. And we can overthrow the criminals and make the world better. It's a constant, continual, repeating fight. And each time the world should get a little bit better. And it goes up and down. Anyways, kind of to his point that I completely disagree with him 100%. But there's one thing I'm like, I don't believe it, but at the same time, are times in my life where I'm like, maybe this one side of religion is true. And what is that? That's the idea of prayer. Praying for what you want. Right? There's like we're all slaves, right? In order to escape slavery, we have to take action. You can't just pray for slavery to end. You can't just pray for the slave masters to stop enslaving us. Like, you can't pray for a superhero Jesus to come back and just make the slaves free, and for all the slave masters to gone. That's what they believe. A lot of Christians these days. And for them, it's not quite slave masters, it's like just all evil. They probably more likely think it's just the poor criminals that are evil. So they just want the poor people that are criminals gone. The people that rob people on the street in order for them to have enough food for their family. And the rest of the poor people want the super rich criminals gone. The 5 to 10,000 people on this planet that have acquired more money than they nor their families could ever spend. That so-called billionaire, that's the generational wealth. The people that not only have all the material wealth they could ever need, they not only have servants catering to their every need, cooking all their meals, doing all their laundry and cleaning the entire home, but they have like dozens of homes. Like, who needs dozens of mansions all over the world with staff working at those mansions? You can only be at one mansion at one time, yet there's staff cooking in mansions that you can't be in at the same time. Being refrigerator stocked with food on the whim that you might show up at that house that day with 10 friends and family all together. There are homes here like that. There are millionaires from Europe who have homes here with, and they may show up one day with 10 family, and they want chefs to cook for them and clean, and housekeepers keeping the house clean and ready for them to arrive. It's anyways, they're hoarding all the wealth, actually. So while a middle-class person living in the city have the unfortunate direct problem of being robbed a few times a year on the street, cell phone stolen from them, money, wallet, all that stuff. So let's say getting robbed and losing $6,000 to poor criminals per year. They don't realize how they've lost probably 80% of their life working to pay interest and taxes, as well as increasing costs due to currency devaluation. So they've lost, through currency devaluation, most of all, 80% of their working life. So we're talking, let's say you're a middle-aged adult, you've been working jobs and whatnot for 20 years. You're gonna have to work another 50 years or 30 years, but you've worked 20 years. How many hours is that? It's like 2,000 hours a year times 10, 20,000 hours. over 20,000 hours of your time you have to pay to the rich people who get wealthier every time they devalue currency and they collect all the rent, all the interest, and all the taxes go to their business as well. Right? $6,000 taxes to criminals robbing us on streets per year, or pay over 20,000 hours of your life being a slave to one of the richest humans on this planet. 10,000 out of 8 billion, which is less than 0.1%. 99.99% of people versus 0.01%. Right? 9,999 people versus 1. That's what we have controlling us, controlling all our time. Anyways, I'm all about escaping that and doing what we need to do to escape that, which is stop being a slave, stop working, feed each, not just ourselves, but feeding each other. We all work to feed each other. Continue working to grow food, farm food, and cook food so that we all have food. Everybody. And then getting rid of the 10,000 billionaires and quasi-billionaires, all the people with over $100 million. I'm sorry, but that phase of the world, if we don't make it impossible for people to have more than $100 million, if we don't put that limit, you're gonna have greedy people who want to become richer than $100 billion, and those all know that the way to become richer than over $100 billion is through war. And so you have people creating war on this planet that's going to destroy the entire planet. Not just polluting it, because bombs are polluting nature, not just nuclear, not just nuclear annihilation, but just polluting nature with death. Like the soil is being poisoned, and all the money that should be going to fixing that is disappearing because it's used on bombs instead. Anyways, I keep getting away from the main point. Is you can't do anything about it. It's okay that it's like this, that we're living in slavery. Just pray that Jesus comes and fixes it. When I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. Well, just live as happy as you can be in your current life, and then after you die, you can either go to heaven, be reincarnated as someone who lives a better life life as a non-slave. So what, you're a slave this life. You'll be a slave master the next life. I don't want to be a slave master the next life. I don't want there to be any slavery. And like, well, there's no stopping it. It's just too strong. He just comes up, excuses. He has just Rolodex of excuses. Like, so much brain power to prepare of excuses. And then he runs to the next excuse. Well, just give up. There's nothing. There's no way we can fight the slave masters. They own all the in the military. And I'm like, does he not understand? It's literally like all the police and military and politicians and billionaires, trillionaires, they all add up to like 50, 60, 70 million people controlling us. That's nothing. There's 8 billion of us. So it's 7.9 billion people. 50, 60, 70 million. We 100x. We have 100 times more people than them. All we have to do is unite. It's that simple. Something. Not just pray for God. Not just believe that there's heaven after we die. Or believe that there's a next life that will be better. There's only now. So yeah, so I'm fighting for everyone to take action. Like, this is not just well, as long as I take action, then that's all that matters. I can't force anyone else to take action. I don't even try to talk to anyone else to take action. And it's like, no, I can't. I have to take action, and my way of taking action is slapping everyone in the face if I have to and say, wake up, we have to take action. You're all controlled by religions that have brainwashed you since a child to believe peaceful non-action is spiritual. To believe that being just meditating and praying is being spiritual. That taking action that causes chaos or disruption or pain for anyone is evil. That the idea of taking action to free slaves from slavery is not spiritual. That's what religions teach. Like Garrett, that's what they're telling me. You're trying to vibrate a revolution that may involve pain and violence against the rich. You are evil. That's what they're telling me. Spirituality and goodness is not doing anything and just allowing everyone to be enslaved and tortured. And it's like, wake the fuck up. People are being enslaved. Not doing anything is violence against them. Not doing anything when we can do something altogether is collective violence against people being tortured and enslaved and genocide. That's what we're facing right now. One by one, we're all going to slowly picked off and genocided with extreme brutality, just blanket carpet bombing, just swarms of drones just from above, men, women, and children. Just because we don't take full part of the slavery. What is the slavery? Slavery, consuming alcohol, Judaism and Christianity want us consuming alcohol. Alcohol makes you dumb. Not just when you drink a lot of it at one time. You all know how dumb people get when they get really drunk drinking a lot of alcohol at once. Little by little, one beer a week, one beer a day, over 10, 20 years, you get dumber. It's dumbing you down. It affects your pineal gland. Your pineal gland helps you think freely, to be able to see with full consciousness where lies are hidden. Because psychologically, we can be lied to easily. So, all the boomers that believe nonsense, fake news, propaganda on Facebook and cable TV and whatnot, they've had their pineal gland destroyed over 40 years, 50 years of just drinking alcohol here and there, maybe getting drunk at these get-togethers here and there, but maybe just a wine a week here and there, but it adds up over 30, 40, 50 years. And that's why they're so dumb and able to be fooled, lied to, and believing all kinds of fake news propaganda, and believing all these politicians that they like what they're are completely honest and out for their interest. They're just foolable because their pineal gland doesn't exist anymore. It's basically just a withered, dry rock in their head, and they can't see the truth. They can't decipher the truth from. Can't think deeply about lies. That's why old people don't sleep well. Every animal you look at out there, like an old cat. My cat's very old now, probably around 17, 18 years old now. She sleeps fine. She sleeps deeply. She's never drank alcohol. Every old animal has decent sleep. But the pineal gland is a big part of having good deep sleep. And sleep is where you maintain your good intuition, your ability to think well, right? You don't sleep studying for tests, and you take the test, you can't think well. Even though you spent so much time studying, you didn't sleep well. Your brain is not going to be smart. And so lifelong, chronic, moderate drinking leaves these people old, not sleeping well. And it's not just alcohol. They are attacking it through all sides. It's in our fluoride water, toothpaste that we're supposed to brush with every day. Get a dose of fluoride every day. In these municipal towns and cities that fluorinate their waters. And here in Brazil, they don't have piped water fluorinated. They have bottled water. All the bottled water, they put fluoride in. And so people are dumbed down by water, alcohol, and one of the lesser thought about things is coffee. Coffee is full of ingredients meant to turn people into good workaholic slaves. Slavery pretty much came from Ethiopia, and that's why they have coffee. Coffee was slave, just don't think, repetitive action, work, manual labor, digging, chopping, grunt work. Coffee's great for that. you're just gonna go to the gym, lift weights, yeah, drink coffee. But it ruins your sleep. Coffee and alcohol. That's like the two biggest industries. And if you look at religions, a lot of Jews, a lot of Christians drink or have Christian people drinking lots of alcohol and coffee. The work hard, play hard that they used to ask me, are you a work hard, play hard guy? At interview corporate banking world. What they're really asking me is, how many cups of coffee do you drink and how many beers can you drink? Like per week, how many cups of coffee are you drinking and how many beers are you drinking? Alcohol are you drinking, how much caffeine, how much sleep are you losing? Is what they're asking me in those interviews. And even back then, I wasn't. And I'd have to lie. Yeah, I don't sleep. I'm at the office, or I'm at the bar or the club. At the office, coffee. At the bar or club, alcohol, shots. That's what they were looking for. People who don't think, slaves. People without a conscience. People who are not conscious. And will just work 7 to 7 and then go to the happy hours and bars and clubs after from 7 to 11. And then sleep from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. again. And that's why you have people who are so dumb today, like blindly MAGA or just blindly pro-Israel. You look at them. There was a guy who was saying, oh, ayahuasca users, you look at their eyes, you don't see anything behind the eyes. What are you talking about? I don't see anything behind your eyes. People that have just destroyed the pineal gland with coffee and alcohol. But it's not just coffee and alcohol, it's fluoride in the drinking water and toothpaste. It's also sugar. Eat a bag of Sour Patch Kids, something sugary, and in that moment you're having a sugar, you're craving sugar, whatever, for whatever reason. You eat a really good, delicious cake and you want another one. Or you kill a bag of cookies. You know you're going to regret it. After 45 minutes later, you're just like, you just feel foggy and lazy and yeah, you just feel gross. Your brain has been affected, not just your body. Like, it's not just like you want to go to sleep, even though you probably do want to take a nap. You just feel slower. Your brain feels slower and dumber. And we're like, okay, yeah, that's if you eat a bunch. Same thing with alcohol. It's not just bad when you drink a bunch of alcohol or eat a bunch of cookies or drink a bunch of coffees. It's also bad when you do it little by little over time. Eating just half a cookie, a pure sugar cookie, once a day for 30, 40 years is gonna make you dumber. Sugar. Or imperialistic sugar, right? Sugar has existed in fruits and veggies and rice forms forever, but it wasn't really until sugarcane from slaves, plantations came along during imperialism that sugar really became combined with coffee and chocolates and pastries. Then it became really, that's when obesity came along, and And people became really dumb again, even dumber, essentially. So anyways, how do we get people to take action? We have to get them to be smarter, more intelligent, to realize that we have the power to escape the slavery, but you all believe don't. And you create illusions that convince us to not do anything. Everything from we are powerless to we can pray, have a magic superhero God come down to earth and save us. Like some Marvel movie. Jesus will have a cape and fly around the world throwing all the evil people, all the slave masters into outer space. That's what everyone believes. Or in Christianity. Or Muslims, they believe if the whole world becomes Muslim, just spending every day praying to Allah, following Muhammad's rules. They believe all the slave masters will be gone, but they will be slaves to God instead. So they'll end slavery to other humans, the 1%, the 0.01%. End that and instead be a slave to God or the church. That's what the Muslims want. And the Christians want to be a slave to Jesus and be freed from slavery after you die. And Muslims kind of believe the same thing. Be a slave to God in this life and then be free of slavery. And then Jews believe we are God's chosen one and everyone needs to be our slaves. And time again, we get close to achieving that, but then they always revolt and expel us, God's chosen ones. They're jealous, or they refuse to just comply to God's choice that we are God's chosen ones and they're not. And so they are working to bring the power of God to earth to make it happen for the final. They'll do 80% of the work, and when we try to unite against them, the slaves are always going to outnumber the slave masters. Then they'll create so much wealth and technology that they can bribe and technologically control everyone so that they can't escape. The final, forever ever will there be Goyim's slave to Goys, with no more revolutions, no more expulsions, and no more chance of overthrowing the slavery cult. So slavery eternity, that's what they're going for. That's the kingdom of God for them. The kingdom of the Jewish God. The kingdom of the Jewish God that Zionists, Israelis, Jews, whatever name you want to call it, like it's such a bullshit game of some native and some aren't. Like you can say the F word about gays, you can hardly say gay anymore. You have to say homosexual. And then can't say homosexual. That's too specific too. You have to say LGBT, or gender fit, or sexual fluid, whatever. You just have to keep creating new names because the idea that a certain sound of word is bigoted and racist or hateful. It's kind of a stupid game. Whatever name you want to call it, whatever. If the word I choose is hateful, replace it in your own head, right? Different languages have different words. Different people have meanings for different words within the same language. If you're offended, just say, okay, I don't like that word, I like a different word. Fucking thing. There are people who believe that their religion is the only one true religion. And within that religion, they believe that they are a people who descend from people that God has promised as his favorite. And as his favorite, they get privileges. They get land, they get wealth, and they get slaves. The slaves, people who do not descend from a man named Jacob, Abraham, or Moses, or Noah, or Adam and Eve. It's you pick, right? As long as you believe God chose a certain small portion of people from a certain small region of the planet, right? It's clear that this region was small because they just walk around a lot of it, right? It's not something that they talk about traveling months and months on horseback and camels to get from one side of their land to another. No, it's a small region where they just walk around. They get expelled, they walk, they wander. But essentially very few people. It's a desert land. They don't farm. They sheep herd. But they believe that God chose them specifically to be God's favorite, and thus, should slavery exist, they should always never be slaves. They should always be the slave masters. That is what God chooses. And so that's this world that we live in. We have a whole lot of people that believe in this cult, and there are a whole lot of people that believe in these beliefs but don't even realize that that's truly what they believe. They'll be like, no, I just believe in, kindness and spreading joy and hope that God will end all suffering. So we have to, follow these rules to be kind to each other. Da, 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 da. I don't realize hidden in between all those aspects of religion that they're also supporting a religion that at the foundation believes that there should be a fight because God is jealous and God only wants one true religion, one true people to be the authors, right? Creating books from this certain region as the only true books. And basically all other books that anyone else in the world is writing, like Buddhism or Taoism in Asia, people from my ancestry. We have these books that also go back several thousand years, and parables that have passed down millions of years through word of mouth, not written down specifically. But according to that goes against the idea that God wrote those books as well, via speaking to enlightened people, prophets, you would say. The idea that God spoke to them, no, that's a false God. Those are false people. Those are not God's chosen ones. God didn't choose to speak to them. They only chose to speak to us, Jews, Christians, Muslims, whatever, from this small part of the world. That's a war mentality. Right there and then you set off like a domino effect. That will cause domino effect of all those people must be slaves to us. They must be conquered and enslaved to us. We must go to war with them, conquer them, genocide them, destroy their language, their culture, their beliefs, trample them, take their land from them, exploit them. That's part of that religion. It's not a religion, it's a cult. Believe it because they're told it by their parents. Since childhood, they're programmed to believe it. And it's not like, okay, well, why don't they just realize, wake up, just like Santa Claus, you wake up and realize, oh, by the time you're 15, you're like, it can't be possible. It doesn't make any sense at all if you really think about it. But no, they don't want to think about it. You have to want to think about it. That's the problem with Carol and Garrett. I can see that thinking about it disturbs them. Why? Because if they start thinking about it, they'll realize that they're benefiting from it. And then they'll realize that they're not really good people. They are benefiting from slavery. And what do you mean? I'm not benefiting from. Well, you have dollars that make you rich in a poor country. Why is that country poor? Because their currencies. Why is their currency weaker? Because the U.S. toppled the government, controlled, made it a military dictatorship for a while, massacred all the people that were community-based, the people that would have been good people to build a good country on the backs of, but instead they have a bunch of criminals, greedy criminals, controlling all the industry, who sell all the valuable commodities from Brazil, keep all the money for themselves, offshore it in Miami, and the people of Brazil never see a dime for all the rubber and chocolate and coffee and soybeans and cattle that is produced here. The people of Brazil don't see that money. It goes to rich people who travel and have citizenship in other countries. Even if they're born in Brazil, they have basically dual citizenship status because they're rich and they build giant skyscrapers in Miami and collect rent in the US and put all their money in stock markets around the world and hedge funds and buy up land everywhere around the world. And essentially, it's just exploitational slavery. And they're essentially complicit and compliant. And they're trying to make me compliant. Constantly giving me excuses not to do what I'm doing, which is speaking out and trying to unite everyone. And he's like, why don't you just do something about it then? Like, stop talking about it, just do something about it. I'm like, do you think Mao Zedong or Napoleon or Caesar or any major player in the history of the world, what do you think they did that I'm? Do you really think they picked up a sword or a gun and charged into battle? You think they ever did that? No. He just went around telling people what needs to happen, and they followed his suggestions to such a degree that they even, like, he told them where to be, to arm themselves, to train, and then go to war. You were never at the front lines. It's basically Garrett's telling me, then go be at the front lines of this war that you keep trying to incite everyone to be part of. Like, this concept just told me with stupidity, like just constant Rolodex of stupidity being thrown at me. Just pray and things will get better. Wait until you die and then you'll go to heaven and things will get better. Or wait until you die and then you'll be reborn in a better life. Or just accept it and be happy, because there's no way we can win and overthrow the rulers. There's no way they're too strong. Just litany, and then it's then just why don't you just something? You're not gonna do anything. Then just give up. This is the energy constantly, and they're like, we didn't do anything to you. Like, this is the energy of me for a year. Of course, I'm gonna finally just be like, dude, you've made peace with evil. You're making peace with evil. That's what it is. Everybody around me has made peace. And they think they're holy and righteous because they made peace. But they don't realize they said the first part of the truth. The first part of the truth is 3 words. There's a 5-word sentence that is the full truth. The truth they are shouting at me is, we are peacemakers. And they're proud of themselves. You are not a peacemaker. We are peacemakers, they yell at me. You are not a peacemaker. And I want to tell them, you are peacemakers with evil. You've made peace with evil. You've aligned yourself with evil. And now, just like the evil people, they point the finger at us for being evil in self-defense. They called me an evil person that needs to go to prison. They sent screenshots of me and everything I've ever said. You know, you can go back and find all the worst things anyone has ever said. And they sent that to the cops. And the cops made a report. So they're probably watching me now. And because they're afraid. They're afraid I'm going to make them realize the truth. That they're not peacemakers. They're peacemakers with evil. They make peace with evil. That means they are helping evil in order to benefit from whatever privilege and peace they can receive from evil. If we're a bunch of slaves and we get together, look, if we all pick up a bunch of sticks and charge the house at the same time, there's 50 of us per person inside that house. And that house has 20 slave guards with guns. Each of those slave guards with guns can kill 6 of us before the 7th person is able to knock down that guardsman, right? So 10 of us rush one guard, he'll kill 6 of us, and then the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th will survive and kill that guard, right? So there's 50 guards, but there's 500 of us slaves. Unfortunately, a lot will die. That'll be sad. But there will be many who will free. But then we have this problem where the slave masters know that they are outnumbered. So they bribe everyone. They bribe the slaves, hey, do you want to live in this house with us? We'll make a little tiny cot in the corner of the shed. It's much nicer. Everyone will be envious of you. It'll be a much more easier life. There's air conditioning. You don't get air conditioning outside, do you, huh? You with nice privileges. And the slaves, they turn on each other. Whoever is talking about organizing a certain time for everyone to simultaneously charge the slave masters, they tell them to let the police know, to let the guards know, and the guards will go and imprison and murder them. That's what I'm facing. But anyways, I do believe the people have to save themselves. Praying for Jesus or hoping for heaven or a better life after death, it's a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of lies and brainwashing to get people to do nothing. We have to do something. But I also believe in magic. So whereas Garrett also believes at times in a certain magic of, right? It's a magic belief that after you die, there's a magical heaven place that you go to. Right? It's a magical belief that Jesus will come back with superpowers like Superman, and just bullets will bounce off him, and he'll be able to just armies and militaries pick up a giant boulder and throw it at the evildoers. This is what I want to talk to people about. Do people really believe this? I can't believe they believe this. It's like they are children. Their brains have never wisened up. It's like people that are 50 years old still believe in Santa Claus. They're afraid not to. Because then they'll realize they're not, they've been allowing cruelty and slavery to exist. But no, yesterday, I'm starting to say, maybe Garrett is not 100% wrong. Maybe he's just half true, half wrong. It's not going to be like he says, with Jesus coming back to save us, or heaven, or a better reincarnation is awaiting us after death. Maybe it's something else. Maybe if I vibrate certain energy strong enough, so strong, like perhaps I'm much stronger than the average person, but maybe it's possible to be incredibly much stronger than I currently am. Maybe it's possible for me to be much more stronger than I currently am in my vibrational magic that I kind of seem to have. I kind of seem to have something that it sounds ridiculous to say out loud. It makes me seem crazy. Jeff, you've gone crazy. Too many ayahuasca, you've gone crazy to think have a magical power that without doing anything, like taking action physically or anything, you have an effect. My mom has a little bit of this power where she knotted my hair. That's why I had to cut my hair. Just from hating it so much. And around her, my hair that she hated, my long hair, got retangled into a knot. Just magically. I know I have the ability to hex things or people just from some vibrational energy that I'm putting. People will be like, oh, it's crazy, you're crazy, it's all coincidences, you're just confirmation biasing random coincidences that happen sporadically that make you believe that you have some sort of magical powers vibrationally. The amazing casserole that they baked, and you were angry that they were turning this into a dinner instead of a ceremony, or that they were taking too much time focusing on cooking food instead of meditating, and then you were just like constantly annoyed that they were eating food, but it's not good to eat food because you're messing with your stomach acid, which affects the bin. And so I was thinking about that food and it was annoying me. And I was meditating at the same time. and then find out that casserole pan shattered impossibly. Like cooked fine, it was fine. It was just waiting for us later that evening and it exploded. Like that shouldn't happen. But my vibration magically affecting the world. As above, so below. As below, so above. My ayahuasca showed me that as well, that's something I have the power. So I don't agree with Garrett and Carol about just doing nothing. I can't fault them because there's a part of me that believes I have the power to greatly affect the entire world, and I don't have to do anything to do it. I don't have to create a great book that everyone will read and wake up. I don't have to create a great movie or a great social media account, be a huge influencer, podcaster, some guru. I don't have to do any of that. I have the power to vibrate it into existence. That's what this call was about. This is my spirituality, my perspective. I'm not saying you have the power to, but I'm not saying you don't. What if we all convinced ourselves and just tried? Kept telling Garrett, what do you mean just vibrate positively? That's just buzzwords. What does that mean? You keep telling me I can just positivity. I don't have to lead a revolution. Just vibrate positivity. Be positive. Leading a revolution is negative. That's their idea. And I'm just like, what does that mean? Tell me exactly what to do right now, today. Maybe if we all meditated and prayed or vibrated, everyone leaving bullshit religions behind, just awakening to, oh, these religions are really just slavery, brainwashing factories. That's what I would love, for everyone to begin doubting these slavery religions. The idea that God created everything, so that means he's the slave or his slave, so we have to worship him. He created us and everything so that he would be worshipped by us, and not worshiping anyone else, and doing as he commands, and spending our lives serving him as our slave master. And then getting rewarded after we die with heaven. And then anyone that did or did not spend time worshiping him and saying he's the only one true God, and doing the prayers and the singing and the bowing and eating only certain foods, all these rules, random rules, really just to make us weird and different. If we don't do all of that, he'll send us to torture and hell and other things. So it's kind of a threat with violence, right? Worship me or you will be ripped to shreds in hell, right? That's kind of the guy that God is, right? Yeah, I would love to vibrate everyone to give that more of a thought. I would like to magically have ideas pop into people's brain and say, can't believe I used to believe this as a kid. Well, I understood why I believed it as a kid. I was a kid, but after being an adult for so many years, I still believed this. It was because I believed it because I was not a very good person. I didn't have empathy or sympathy or love for anyone else. I was just being selfish and privileged, through that believing this makes me feel good about myself and the privilege I have, while others are suffering and being enslaved. And religion gave me all the excuses I needed to justify slavery, including, so what that we have slavery? Just be a slave and then go to heaven after you die. Can everyone just vibrate with me? Maybe together some kind of magic will happen, like some Buddhist, Taoist meditation, Qi communication through the fifth, sixth dimension that we're all connected in. Like maybe we can spread it. Well, at the same time, continue talking about it, because we're just trying to spread the seed, the thought inside people's head. They still need to talk it out and realize it fully, deeply, to the fullest extent, that religions are complete bullshit cult enslaving us. Yeah. All right. 81 minutes. Run along. What did the comments say? Brazilian people. No one saying anything about Jackie Chan today. That's a good plus. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. I think I'm gonna go down to the plaza and have these conversations with people at the church Saturday. I don't know if they have service on Saturday. But regardless, I'm going to try today, because it's just talking. Why do I need a recharge? I did it once and I was so exhausted the day after. Being around people that are extremely, I'm sorry, retarded, but extremely, that's not the word, right? It's too sensitive. Extremely childish in their beliefs. They believe this religious beliefs that they learned as a child, and then they were too afraid to ever look at it deeply, to question it. It's exhausting. You talk to them and it's like, God's gonna come, and just like Noah in the ark, he saved all the animals. I'm like, do you really believe that? Do you really believe in that? Okay. Exhausting thing, but it's like learning how to surf. That was exhausting too. and I'm gonna get stronger and able to understand them more, I guess. That's the problem. Not being able to understand how they're older than me. People in their 60s and 70s trying to evangelize the idea that the Bible is 100%. It's like, wow. But all right. That's Mago session, 2 puffs, and perilla oil, matcha, and ginseng. I'm gonna lunch. I haven't eaten. It's 1:30. I had a banana for breakfast. But yeah, I'm gonna make some rice and chicken. All right.